Good afternoon, ladies, and thank you for joining us in Far Above Rubies today. I'm so glad that each of you are here. The miracle we're going to talk about today is the miracle of the pillar of both cloud and fire. It was briefly mentioned in our devotional video yesterday, and your passage for today is going to be Numbers chapter 9, verses 15 through 23. So a quick recap from yesterday. We talked about how the children of Israel were encamped at the shore of the Red Sea. The armies of Egypt were hot on their heels coming after them, and the Lord moved this pillar of cloud that he had led them out of Egypt with to the rear of their camp, so that he sat between the armies of Egypt and the children of God as a wall of protection. Now, this is the only instance in which I can find that the Lord had this pillar be behind the camp of the children of Israel, and I find that really terrifically interesting. In the passage that you're reading today, in Numbers chapter 9, the scripture tells us that the children of Israel would follow this pillar of cloud, wherever it went. So when it rested, they knew that's where the tabernacle needed to be set up. That's where the Lord would meet with Moses and give instruction. And this pillar of cloud by day was essentially God's presence, or at least the scripture tells us that he dwelled there, that he spoke through this cloud, that he saw through this cloud. There's a few references to that. And as long as this pillar of cloud would rest over the tabernacle, whether it be for a night or for many weeks, the children of Israel would stay exactly where they were. They would go about their business for the Lord. They would offer him sacrifices and go about their daily lives. But the instant that this pillar of cloud would pick up and begin to move, they would drop what they were doing. They would gather their belongings. They would gather their families and take up their tents and quickly follow after the cloud. They were following after the presence of the Lord. By day, this pillar of cloud offered protection from what I would imagine is a pretty powerful sun in the middle of the wilderness. And by night, it says that this pillar of cloud appeared to be a pillar of fire. It gave light, it gave warmth. I don't know about you, but I live in the desert at night. Even if it's a hot desert, at night it can get pretty cold. So this pillar of fire offered warmth, it offered light, and it offered protection. It led them. It was a guiding force. It offered provision of coverage for them, because I've heard this story since I was a child, and it's easy to imagine this pillar being a pillar like we imagine. But in order for it to protect this whole massive entire population of the children of Israel, it had to be pretty large. It was more than just a pillar that we would envision it as. The interesting thing, the reason I said I find this so terribly interesting is this. The children of Israel, they did a lot of crazy things. They murmured and complained and got in a lot of trouble. But I love their faithfulness and their attentiveness to the moving of God's presence. When God began to move away and said, "Oh, it's time to go this way," they dropped what they were doing and they ran after him. Do you think that if a portion of the children of Israel had picked up and decided to go that way, when the presence and the pillar of God went that way, that they still would have been offered the same protection, the same coverage? Do you think that the Lord would have gone chasing after the children of Israel with this pillar of cloud if he had gone that way and they had gone that way? I don't think so. They were following the leading of the Spirit of God. And as long as they followed the leading of the Spirit of God, this protective pillar of cloud and this provisional pillar of fire was there for them day in and day out. We have to be aware of the moving of the presence of God in our lives. There are times when doors close. There are times when doors open that might seem scary to walk through, but we have to be sensitive to the moving of God. I can imagine a mother in the camp of the children of Israel going about her day, tending to her children, going out to the line and taking down the wash, and all of a sudden she begins to see the presence of God move. Do you think that she went on about doing her laundry and said, "Okay, I'll catch up when I'm ready"? Or do you think she quickly dropped what she was doing and gathered her babies and said, "Come on, God's going that way, and that's where we're going to"? Go and read Numbers chapter 9, verses 15 through 23, and I hope that you were as blessed by this passage as I was. We need to be ever aware of the miraculous moving of the presence of God. It is not just for us, but for our families, for our churches. Ladies, if the presence of God is moving in your church in this direction, don't try and get your heels dug in and say, I'm going that way. You follow your leaders, you follow the moving of God's presence, and you be sensitive and aware of where God is taking you. He is a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire, even for us today. We might not see it in those forms, but He is exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. And because He is that faithful, we need to be faithful and sensitive and attentive to the moving of His presence. I love you all. If no one's told you lately, you are loved and you are cherished. You are valuable. You have worth, my friend, and that worth is far above rubies. You have two terrific guest speakers coming to you the next couple of days. Make sure that you tune in and let them know that you are here. I'm excited to listen to them, and I hope you are too. God bless you. I love you.